Good afternoon. Welcome back to our virtual kickoff 2021. I can't see you all, but hope you are safe and healthy. As we have just heard how biotronik did in worldwide and Asia Pacific level in 2020, let me share our own India and subcon number so that we get the right perspective. We all know how pandemic has created havoc in our region. Our top line revenue has dropped by 34% from 171 crore to 113 crore. The biggest drop came for VI division from 93 crore to 55 crore. And for CRM, it came down from 55 crore to 77 crore. Such huge revenue loss impacted our net bottom line, which is CM3, by 41% in compared to CY19, as it was very difficult to manage our fixed costs. India struggled to control the spread of this virus due to huge dense population, despite having one of the longest nationwide lockdown. We all returned to work during middle of Q2 after certain ease of lockdown restriction, but there were subconscious fear and anxiety among all of us. We are paranoid and grappled with uncertain future as TV and media news were confusing. We started crawling back in business mode from end May and early June onwards and tried to recover our lost ground. During Q2, which is April, May and June, we are significantly down as most of our region were under lockdown. As you see from this chart, we started recovery from July onwards. If we cluster one monthly revenue trend on quarterly fashion and business-wise, CRM team has recovered gradually from minus 48% in Q2 to minus 15% in Q4. For VI division had a steep decline of minus 73% in Q2, which were cut down to half in Q3 and Q4. Anyway, I believe growth is not just about beating odds each year, it's also about resilience against all odds. Thank all of you for showing your resilience. Growth is not just about net gains, it is also gaining knowledge and the perspective. In this tough year, we not only adopted newer technology like Zoom call, webinar, but we also adapted new realities like no salary adjustment. I am proud of you all to show your agility in adversity and synergy in diversity. From management side, we tried to be a bit compassionate in crisis. For example, adjusting your annual incentive cutoff limit so that everybody can be eligible for incentive, and participate in the Asia Pacific for qualifying for additional 4% of our base pay as special COVID-19 incentive. Year 2020 has taught us how to concentrate on our priorities. Because of this unprecedented low sales volume, we had to put utmost priority on cost saving. Thank all of you for your support and understanding that has helped us to avoid any catastrophe in the year 2020. And we all survived in this difficult year business-wise. Let's see how our different business unit has done in the year 2020. Praveen, would you mind sharing us how you managed in the year 2020?
Thanks, Tushar. 2020 was really our most challenging year ever on all fronts. On one side, it created challenges on revenue generation and bigger challenges were posed on the profitability and cash flows.
The impact of fall in revenue was so significant that it became a challenge to manage the fixed costs like salaries, rentals, which led to profitability turning into deep red in April 2020. This is when Bio India team worked together to save costs in every possible manner to survive this unprecedented situation. Our sales and marketing teams maintained the marketing events and travel costs at a lower level, which helped us a lot in keeping these costs lower in line with lower revenues. Our logistics teams work towards reduction of stock levels, which helps us minimize the expiries and custom duty cost for the year 2020. We also renegotiated our fixed commitments like office rentals, which gave us some breathing space from the fixed costs, which was a cause of concern due to lower revenues. With these collaborated efforts, from each and everyone in the organization, we could manage a reasonable level of profitability even with a significant fall in revenue, which was as high as 34%. On top of the challenges of managing profitability was a bigger threat of running out of cash. As you are aware, we need cash to run our operations, whether it is for payment of purchase of products or payment of salaries to our employees or payment of rentals to maintain our offices or any other sales and marketing spends for that matter. And the only source of cash we have to meet all these requirements is the distributor collections. Due to the pandemic situation, the collections almost went into a pause mode. We, including our sales teams, continued to focus on collections and try to ensure that we collect at least to the extent we are invoicing to keep the ball rolling. But since the invoicing was also lower, the collection continued to be at lower levels, which led to deterioration of receivables aging and DSO. We could survive 2020 by lowering down our stock levels and by deferring payments of products to our global counterparts and other vendor payments like rent, etc. And we need to really catch up to be in a better situation in 2021. But at the same time, I would like to thank both the BU heads for their support in the above endeavors. Amit, could you please share the CRM BU 2020 highlights?
Thanks Praveen, and good evening guys. 2020 was indeed toughest year of our life. Given the magnitude of the shock and challenges that this crisis represents, Biotronik has considered the full breadth of their employees' needs as people. Safety is essential, of course, but it is also important to address higher level needs such as the want for truth, stability, authentic connection, self-esteem, growth, and meaning in the context of the crisis. No past experience was helpful in predicting the impact on businesses or individuals. The days were gloom, team morale was down, and the discussions were pessimistic. Indeed, for all of us in senior management, it was tough to lead and take decisions. But I am relaxed now after the results of 2020 with what CRM team has been able to achieve. There were three main factors that helped us achieve 2020 results: leadership, ownership, and execution displayed by team. Let's look at the leadership first. Thanks to Tushar, our senior management has kept the safety and security of people on top and ensured that the confidence of the team remained high and focused on objectives. There were three key decisions which has helped the team. 1. Reimbursement of expenses for the protection equipment. 2. Health insurance cover against COVID-19. And 3. Job security. On the ownership front, you would agree that the stress and worry were at an all-time high during this crisis. But with few intentional adjustments to our communication habits, team made it possible to diffuse the key drivers of anxiety before they could take hold of their performance. CRM team has kept aside the uncertainty, insecurity, isolation, and health and safety above self while work during the course of the year. During Q2, the initial phase of lockdown, we spent most time on sharpening our axe with more than 200 hours of training on products and therapies, followed by adoption to digital platforms to communicate with customers and support their initiatives of patient care. During Q3 and in Q4, we started to excel and gain the momentum similar to what we were doing in Q1 of 2020 before the pandemic has impacted us. And the focus was primarily on profitability and to minimize the gap of against 2019 performance. we have also launched conduction system pacing in India through digital platforms only in the month of December itself. In terms of execution, team has achieved the significant result during the 2020. The atmosphere of financial stress and limited elective cases in Tier 1 cities have inflated the value segment tremendously for both low as well as high power therapies. This has resulted in severe decline in contributed margin 1. With their coordinated efforts, we have been able to manage CM1 as per the goal in terms of percentage. Team has made it possible by executing 3 tactics: DC mix Brady, DC mix Techie and market access. In terms of DC mix Brady, we have grown by more than 7% against 2019. There are 144 hospitals where we did dual chamber implants in higher numbers in comparison to 2019. And in total, we registered 67% growth over last year. This has contributed 1/3 of the total implants for year 2020. If I may talk about DC mix Techie, we have grown by more than 16% over 2019. And this has been made possible by primarily focusing on the corporate account, specifically in North Zone. Team has also increased the market access as one of the initiatives which we have decided for 2020 as focused account approach, and we made sale in another 236 hospitals where we were not present in past. This was the first year when in these 236 hospitals biotronik implant has happened, and this has been made possible by appointing new distributors in Q4 alone, which has contributed 1/6 of our total implants in the year 2020. To summarize, we as a team had our learnings from 2020 and have not lost all. Our success may not be called triumph, but it is not less than one. On this note, I would like to thank each and every CRM team member for their spectacular performance for 2020. I'm sure life has not been simple for Anil and his team as well. Anil, please tell us more about how VI team has performed during 2020.
Thanks, Amit. For vascular, it was exceptionally difficult year. Let's turn back in time to somewhere around January or February. My team had just finished with India Live conference, and also Japanese operator workshop was in place, and many other activities were smoothly running. The team was well motivated and had freshly come back from employees meeting at Kuala Lumpur. A target of 113 crore was on track, and team was excited to make vascular business at 100 crore contributor for the year 2020. Suddenly, there's a war at every front, and the team vascular found itself in middle of every adverse situation. Uncertainty over the lockdown had made it impossible to predict business impact. So, multiple business scenarios models were prepared. It was time for some tough talks internally as well, and expenses had to be slashed. Spend bare minimum essential to ride through this situation. It has been rightly said that the secret of crisis management is not good or bad. It's preventing the bad from getting worse.
We faced challenges, and the main challenges were default on payments by the hospital. In turn, distributors' payments were delayed, business shutdown resulting sales returns, expiry of stocks due to lockdown, and low or negligible sales for straight 2-3 months.
Collection was on top of the list. This resulted all payments of FY19 collected, and we made that we do not further deteriorate in receivables. Though there is a marginal improvement on credit days, but we will continue to bring this credit period down to 150 days in the year 2021. Secondary implants were regularly followed up, and the team was in field from 18th May onwards. I am proud to mention that vascular department implemented 17,000 DS against primary sales of 15,500 units. Our cash cow subcon region was also adversely impacted too. The sales was negligible and down to the lowest. We were down but not out. Subcon countries decided to be at least 50% of FY19 achievement, and these countries contributed 11 crore, which is remarkable looking at the situation. North and South had huge responsibility to rise to the occasion, and they did exactly which was needed. North, headed by Manish and Gaurav, contributed 50% to the total sales, whereas South, headed by Pradeep, contributed 43% to the total sales to India. Surprisingly, East contributed to the best of its ability, and all India finished exactly on the targeted numbers. In total, vascular managed to hold further drop below 50% despite all challenges. I want to thank Ayush to support me in secondary targets and engaging customer digitally mode. Ayush, please tell us how you did it all remotely in 2020.
Thanks, Anil. It was a mixed bag for us. We started the year 2020 with strong marketing focus and activities, showcasing our superiority in STEMI branding during India Live and MRI Autodetect and CRM portfolio strength during ICCon. We also had our first ever successful CTO workshop in the history of biotronik South Asia with Dr. Hirohata from Japan successfully implanting Orsiro in 7 cases in Bangalore and Hyderabad in Feb. On CRM side, we were seeing strong focus on Rivacore CRT and DX ICD with Sense DX campaign and CRT Autodapt case collection campaign for sales team and customers. In March end, we hit the roadblock of our lifetime, COVID-19 lockdown. Initially, we faced a lot of uncertainty and anxiety. However, we quickly gathered ourselves to think and strategize on the response to this crisis. We quickly got into discussion with headquarters and regional teams to increase the usage of digital technologies and the focus on webinar with customers to optimize our expense and maximize the reach of marketing messages. In April and May, we organized internal sales training with focus on product and clinical knowledge sharing within the teams for both VI and CRM businesses. In June and July, we engaged our customers on first of its kind webinar from headquarter R&D experts in Berlin on CLS technology. We also engaged 400 plus customers and 5 plus Indian KOLs, 3 from CRM and 2 from VI sites as faculty for APAC webinars. In August and September, we organized India and Subcon customer webinar engaging over 12 plus KOLs as faculties and 100 plus attendees. Also, we had 2 KOLs as faculty for online expert exchange program for next generation DES for global upstream marketing at ENCORE 2020 Virtual Congress. During October, November and December months, we engaged with leading KOL from Belgium, Professor Pedro Brugada, for high impact virtual session on DX technologies at Virtual IHRS. This was attended by over 2,000 plus delegates from South Asia and worldwide. We also engaged 4 Indian KOL as faculty during Triple I session and BioSTEMI webinar. We also organized expert exchange program on conduction system pacing with Professor Jean de Puter and 7 phase 2 sites in India. This was a very well received event as we could activate 2 of these sites with successful HBP and left bundle cases in December itself. In addition, on regulatory front, we got regulatory approval for Orsiro, Syncero, Pentera balloons, PK Papyrus, renal dynamic and dynamic stents, which were expiring last year. We also got approval for Selectra, including Selectra 3D, to enable a successful launch in December. Also, the application for all the CRM products were successfully filed. We were closely tracking the secondary for CRM and VI every week through the year to track our progress, and I am delighted to share that By December, we managed to scale back our secondary run rate to 80% in VI and 90% in CRM of the pre-COVID levels. I'm sure this gives us strong confidence to cover the lost ground in 2021. Last but not least, segmentation and task manager exercise, which we meticulously executed, will help us big time in 2021.